Okay, folks, welcome back to another game of Sudoku. We got a hard puzzle today. Let's see if my brain wants to work today. It's been having some stutters and stops with all the holidays here. So, we'll see. Okay, alright. So I'm starting to look for some patterns, looking for some pairs. First thing I'm seeing here, I saw a lot of pairs. I saw a lot of sevens here in the middle. I saw a lot of sixes down here. I saw threes. I saw fours, ones. So, I mean, I'm seeing lots of patterns of doubles. This six here gives us a solution, and it looks like I just saw this nine here that gives us a solution. So, got a nine down the left side, a nine down the right side, nine across the top. So that gives us a nine. 9 across the middle, 9 across the top. So it doesn't give us a solution here, but we got these two marked as a 9. This 6 comes up on the left. This 6 comes up the middle. And this 6 comes across the top. So all I'm doing is looking for pairs at the moment. Like I see two 4s, I see two 1s. You know, I'm dragging them over here, and I'm looking down here to see if there's something that can help us. Like these 1s across the top, across the bottom, 1 on the left side. So we know that one of these two is our 1. These 4 make a pair, but there's nothing down here to help us with the 4, so I just kind of brush it off at the moment. Okay, I see this pair of 2s that intersect here in this cube. 2 down the left, 2 down the right. Just one spot for our 2. We have 2s here, 2 across the top, 2 across the middle. We have 2 spots there. Anything medium or higher, you got to use pencil marks. For me, there's no way I'd remember all this without it, because those pencil marks are really help out. So looking for these where there's 2 spots. Again, I had a neighbor that would go to every single square and then write down every single pencil possibility, and he'd do that for the whole puzzle before he even got started, and it just looked like numbers threw up all over his paper. And it's just so I always try to limit it to 2. Sometimes I'll break my rule and do it when there's 3, but you've got to learn how to use the pencil marks to help you out here. See, this 2 comes across. There's only 2 spots left for a 2. Now that gives me a ghost row this way. So I have a 2 across the top. One of these 2 is going to be a 2, so I can't have any 2 in this row. 2 comes down on the right side, so one of these 2 in this cube has to be a 2. Okay, ghost rows are good. This 9 comes across the bottom. 9 comes up the right side, so we know we've got 2 spots for the 9. That gives us a ghost row through the center cube. We have a 9 through the bottom. One of these 2 has to be a 9. That means this row here can't have another 9 in it. So the 9 has to be one of these 2. This 9 right through the middle tells us that the 9 either has to be here or here. Okay, we have a 1 that comes through the left side here. We have a 1 that comes across the bottom. So we actually only have 1 spot left for our 1. These 2 help us out here. 1 across the bottom, 1 through the middle, 1 down the left side. Just gives us 1 spot possibly for the 1 here. We now have a 1 down the left, a 1 down the middle. So we know that one of these 2 has to be our 1. Okay, that's helpful. We do have a 1 through the left side here, so we only have 2 spots for our 1 here. Anytime where you have like a row complete, it's really important to kind of look down the row and the columns to see if they cancel anything else out. Those can be really helpful. So let's see here. We've got 3 left here. Anytime there's only 3 left in a row, column, or cube, I always kind of like to identify the numbers that we're missing. So for instance, here we have a 4 that's missing here in the center cube. So if a 4 comes down and eliminates this spot, that means one of, whoa, not a 3. One of these 2 has to be our 4 for this cube. And then what's the other number that we're missing? It looks like a 3, which is great because we have a 3 across the bottom and we have a 3 across the top. So that means this spot actually is the only one that can be a 3. which means this is the only one that can be a 4, which means this is the only one left to be a 9. So when there's only 3 left, your odds of getting them are pretty high. So that was helpful. That was really good. I noticed there are some 3s here down the left, down the right, and there's a 3 across the top. So we have 2 spots here for a 3. Okay, I see a column here that's missing 3 numbers. We've got a 1, 2, we've got a 3, 4, we need a 5. Okay, well we can't have a 5 here, so out of the 2 spaces, this one or this one has to be our 5. We've got our 6, we've got our 7, we need an 8. Now, this is great right here. Okay, 5 and an 8 cannot go here. That means these 2 spaces are double locked. They have to be a 5 and an 8, which this is the only spot left for the 9 to go in. Okay, double elimination, very, very important in these higher complicated games. If it locks them in, that gives you a default what the next space can be. Which, speaking of 9s, we had this marked out with a pencil and we solved the center cube, and I did not follow through my pencil marks, so I want to make sure to update those here as well. Okay, so that helped out good there. We've got our 5 and our 8 that's left for this particular column. Alright, okay. Now we do have a 3 here in the left and a 3 across the bottom, so I know one of these 2 spaces have to be a 3. So I'm just going to mark that for this cube. We've got a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. Now we have a 5 here, but that still can be either one of these. A 6, a 7. So we do have a 7 in the left and a 7 in the right. So we only have 2 spaces left for our 7. Our 8 comes right through the middle, so this could be our 8, or this one could be our 8. And then our 9, so that's good. We got that kind of marked out a little bit. Let's see, I don't know why there we go, there's got 3 spots here. My mind's being drawn to this one. We've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we need a 7 in this row, and it can't be in this cube because we've already got a 7. So one of these 2 has to be our 7. And we're going to need an 8 and a 9. Well, we've got a 9 here, so it can't be in one of these. So this one has to be our 9, which tells me one of these 2 has to be our 8, which we have an 8 here. So that has to be our 8, which makes that one have to be our 7. Okay. Again, that row just had 3 numbers left, so we just kind of went through some eliminations, and that helped us out pretty good. Okay. Alrighty. These 2 are kind of symmetrical here. I'm kind of curious how these will pan out. We've got an 8 across the bottom here, and we have an 8 across the top, so we only have 2 places for our 8. So we got to mark that. See, we've got a 1, we've got a 2, we've got a 3. So 4 can be in 3 spots because we only have 1 4 to eliminate it. 5 can be in 3 spots because there's just 1 eliminating it. Okay, now 6, we do have a 6 here, which comes up through the center of, oh, hey, there we go. Look at this. We've got a 6 across the top, a 6 through the middle, and a 6 through the middle here. That eliminates it. So now if we have a 6 through the middle and a 6 through the right, there we go. That helps us out with that 6. Now this 6 comes across the middle now, which just leaves us in these 2 spots for our 6. Okay, that helped us out. Now we only have 3 spots left here in this cube, and we only have 3 spots here in this row. So let's look at the numbers that we're missing. We got a 1, we've got our 2 because of this guy, 3, now we need a 4. Now 4 can be anywhere. This 4 now comes through. We've only got 2 spots for that 4, so I'm just going to mark it. And we need a 5. Okay, we don't have anything to eliminate the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've got a 5 and a 4 in here somewhere, and nothing's really helping us out. Now we've got a 4 over here in this row. We have an 8. Now we do have a 4 here, so this could be a 4. Now it looks like we're missing a 5 in this row too. Those 5s look like they're going to be a little bit difficult for us in this particular game. So we'll have to kind of pay attention to those. Alright. Okay. Okay, so we got 5s, we've got 4s. Okay, so let me look for some pairs here. I'm seeing again we have 8s now. We have an 8 through the middle, an 8 through the right. So that leaves us 2 spots for our 8. Okay. What else have we put in? We put in quite a few numbers. I'm going to have to start kind of looking back over the same spots I've looked at before a little bit. We have 6s, which is pairs, which we've got our 6 here. We've got 3s that are paired, and we have a 3 across the bottom. So one of these two have to be a 3. 5s, do we have a, no, we don't have a pair of 5s. So we've got our 8, we've got our 6, do we have our 9? We do, 5 and 3. Those are great, so I'm just kind of, again, still looking up and down for pairs. We've got our 9s, we've got 4s. 4 down the left, 4 down the right. 1s, 1 down the left, 1 down the right. So we've got a 1 and a 4 here. Okay. Alright, we've got our 1. We've got our 3. Got our 2. Okay, we have a 7 and a 7. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So we need a 1, 2, 3, 4 right here in these. So see, I've got a 2 and a 3 there, so this can only be a 1 or a 4. Got my 1 and my 4, so that can only be a 2 or a 3. Got a 1 and a 3 here, so this one can only be a 2 or a 4. And this one does have a 2, so this one can be a 1, 3, or a 4. That one's just being a sneaky 1, 3, and a 4. I'm just going to write that down for this bottom row, so I know I got that one marked. Okay, alright. Okay, so I'm noticing with my 8s here, I can't have an 8 in this top row here in this cube. Can't have an 8 here, so you only have 2 spaces that could be an 8 in this cube here, or for this row. So I'm going to mark that down. One of these two has to be an 8. I just kind of was looking at pairs a little differently here, because I need a 9. I've got my 8. Now I need a 7 in this row, right? Well, I can't have a 7 here. Can't have a 7 here, but I could have a 7 here or one of these two. So I'm not going to mark that just yet. We've got our 6. Now we need a 5. Now see, our 5 can't be here, so either this one or one of these two can be a 5. Nothing to help us with the 4, 3, 2. And then, okay, so we see we've got a 1 here. We've got a 1 here. So these two cannot be a 1. This one could be a 1. So I only have 2 spots. One of this one or this one can be a 1 in this particular row. So, you know, you kind of have to be a little creative in your pair lookings to see if what we can find here. Oh, we have our 9 here. Just like I missed my 9 over there. I'm missing this 9 right here. Okay, I was looking at pairs and I said, oh, hey, there's 2 9s. Oh, and 2 9s. There we go. We got that one solved out. Okay, so let's look at this cube here for just a moment. So we've got a 2 that comes up. So we only have 2 spots for our 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we don't have anything to help us with our 5 just yet. We've got our 6. Okay, we do have a 7 that comes up, so 7's got to be over here. 8. Do we have anything that can help us with our 8s? We do. Okay, so here's something that's going to help us here. Is called the crisscross pattern. There is 2 8s in the top column, and there are 2 8s in the top column here. because there's an 8 that comes through here, and there's an 8 and an 8. So what that's telling us, this is called a crisscross elimination. If this top column 8 is here, that means this middle rows, these are rows, is going to be an 8. Now if this one is an 8, well then this one is going to be an 8. So they crisscross, which means this top row and this bottom row cannot have another 8, because these two will complete those rows, both of those rows. Okay, now that's very important, because what's going to happen here is a double crisscross. So these crisscrosses give us these two as a possibility. Well, when you look in the cube below it, look at this, there's two 8s in the right side, because there's an 8 across here. So these two complete a crisscross pattern that's down here. Even though there's only an 8 across here, so technically all 5 of these could be 8s. But with this 8 and these being 8, that does another crisscross elimination. If this is 8 for this column, then this has to be 8, and vice versa. If this is 8, this has to be 8. So no 8s down the middle column and no 8s down the right column. And we already eliminated the 8s in this particular row from 8s being here and 8 being here. So the only 8 that can be possible in this cube, in this row, is this one right here. So that one took 3 different types of eliminations to get us down to that one number. So again, very, very important that you get keep good pencil marks to help, because this crisscross elimination, 2-way, and then another elimination another way to get one number. That's what hard puzzles are for. They try to make it complicated for you to find those patterns. Okay, so that's one that I probably wouldn't have caught. Kind of good happenstance. What was the number that we're missing in this? Oh, that's that 5. That 5. Okay, so we were looking in this one, and I think we were missing a 5 and a 7 in this one as well. Don't have anything to help us with that. Okay, let's see if this 8 helps us out in this row or in this cube. Do we have anything that helps us out with that? We do know now that with this 8 across the top and this 8 through the middle, one of these two has to be our 8, so we can mark that. We have a column here we can look at. 1, we need a 2, which is a 2 is going to be here or here. We can't have any 2s here. We've got a 3. Now we need a 4, but it can't be no 4 up here. Okay, we need a 5, but we can't have a 5 here, so any of these could be a 5 though. We need a 6. Can we have a 6? Pretty much anywhere. We can have a 6 here or here. 7, 8, 9. Okay. Trying not to forget that this 4 is here as well, because that 4 looks like it's only one spot in that row, but it's not. It's not. Okay, let's see what else is helping us here. We've got 5 and an 8, 5 and an 8. Five and a 7 that's missing. We've got our 1, our 2, our 3, our 4. 5 can be anywhere. 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. We've got our 1, we've got our 2, we've got our 3, got our 4. This 5 is really being a stinker. I wonder if this particular column might help us out. Did I finish? 5, 6? Is there any 6s that can help us over here? Okay, we do have a 6 here, and a 6 across the bottom, and a 6 across the top. So we only have 2 spots for the 6. Just make sure I get that written out. 7s, 7 and 7. I've got 3 for the 7. 7 comes up. I still have 3 for the 7. Okay, now that does help us up here in this top one, because for a 7, this cannot be a 7, and we have a 7 that can't be here. So one of these 2 is going to be a 7. That helps out a little bit. So what numbers are we missing here? 1. What about a 2? So we can have a 2 here or a 2 here. From this 2 here, and we have a 2 here. We've got a 3. What about a 4? So we only have 1 4 eliminated here. Then we got a 5, a 6, 7, 8. No 8s here. We know our 8 has to be up there. Okay, this is getting a little bit tricky here. 1 and a 2, and we're missing a 4 and a 7 here. Got a 1 and a 1. We've got twos, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whew. They are making it tricky, aren't they? So this spot right here, I got a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this spot can only be a 5. Let me double check that right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, see, that one's kind of like an easy one and a hard one all tied together, because that one should have been, I should have caught that one. That's what I was thinking about out here on this outer column. I thought there was, because there's like the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but see there's 7 and the 8. That's why. Okay, so that's good. So on this one now we're just missing a 1, a 2, and a 4. Okay, and we can't have a 5 here anymore because we've got this 5. So now we know that our 5 is here. Does that help us anywhere else with 5s? Not really. So it's a 1, 2, or a 4, and there's nothing. The 4s are being just as elusive as the 5s. Let's see here. Okay, so we have a 3, a 7, and an 8. A 3, a 7, and an 8. So this is a 3 and an 8, so this has to be a 3 and an 8. Because it's only 2 spots there for the 3 and the 8. We have a 3 that comes down, we have a 3 that comes across. That has to be a 3. That has to be a 3. Okay. So we now have a 5 here. Does that numbering system help us all? If we do a 1, what if I'm missing a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this could be a 2 or a 7. Okay, so I'll mark that down. So I've got a 1 in this row. Let's see, we've got a 2 that could be here, not here, or here. So there's our 2. We need a 3. Oh, there's our 3. There's our 4. Now we need a 5, and it can't be here. But it could be here, here, or here. 5, 6, and then a 7, which we've got, I guess, lots of possibilities for our 7s, 8s. I'm starting to get a little stumped here. We are doing all right. Got an 8, got a 4. 4 and a 6, a 2 and a 5. 6 has to be over here. 6 has to be over there. Okay. Do you folks see it? Normally there's like a little something that I'm missing, so I have to go in, and this is the point where I kind of break down and start putting all the numbers in because I'm missing something and I just can't see it. And then once I put all the numbers in, then sometimes I'll see it at that point. Let's start up here in this top right cube. I got my 1, I got my 2, 3, 4. So 5 can be anywhere, right? So let's put those in. 5 can be anywhere, right? I don't have anything that can stop it. There's my 6. 7 comes up. So 7 can be any of these 3 spots. And then we have our 8, because we can't have an 8 here. And we can't have an 8 across the top or the bottom because our crisscross 8s. Okay, and then we have our 9. So this cube is fully marked out. Okay, so that might help me here a little bit. Okay, let's look at this cube. We've got a 1, a 2, we've got a 3 across and a 3 up, so there's our 3. We have a 4. Now we need a 5, and we know it can't be here, but a 5 could be here or here. Okay, 6, and then we have a 7 on the left and the right. Okay, so we know we can't have a 7 there. And then we have an 8 through the middle, so we know our 8's up here, and there's 9, so that one's fully marked out. Okay, we have a 1 and a 1 and a 1, so we got our 1. We have a 2. Across the top. Okay. How did we eliminate the other 2's, or did we? 2 across the top. So really 2 could be in any one of these, so let's mark those. There's our 2's. We have a 3 in the right and the left, and we have a 3 at the bottom. So one of these 2 is our 3. We have a 4 on the bottom and a 4 on the top. So it looks like 4 can be any one of the middle ones. 4, 4, 4, 5, 6. Now we do have a 7 in the right column. There we go. There we go, folks. Remember that crisscross pattern we were looking for? we know that we crisscrossed these 7s because there can't be a 7 here, right? So we've got 2 7s here and we got 2 7s. Either which way, it still does the crisscross pattern. So no 7s can be down here in these bottom 2 lanes. No 7. Because these crisscross each other out. No 7 here. 7 has to be up here in this top 2. Okay? And then 8, we have an 8 in the right column. We have an 8 through the middle column, so 8 has to be up here. And then 9. So right there with some elimination with this crisscross pattern, even though there's still 3 that could be 7, they're still in the middle or the bottom. These 7s, if this is in the middle, this has to be the bottom. If it's one of these 2 in the bottom, it has to be here in the middle. 7 cannot go here. 7 has to be up here. So this one, when we were doing the count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this one, there's nothing else to eliminate it being a 7 other than 7 has to be up here because of this crisscross elimination. So this cannot be a 7, and then there's our 8 and our 9. So 2 is the only spot left for this one. And now we need to clean up a lot of pencil marks. So let me start with this cube and just do a little cleanup. Okay, and I know this 2 is going to cascade both down and across. So let's carefully, I've already gone across these top ones and fixed the numbers. So if I take this 2 across, let me take this 2 out, which only allows this one to be a 2. No 2 on the bottom, no 2 on the right. So that has to be a 2. Okay. Now down here at the bottom, we had a 2 down the right side, a 2 down the left side, 2 across the top, 2 through the middle. So now this is the only spot left to be a 2. Okay. So we just left only one spot left for a 3. We will come back to that one because I want to finish the 2s out. Going down vertically over here, we only had 2 spots for a 2. Well, if this 2 comes down, there is our 2. Now, one of these 2 spots could be a 2, but it can't be the one on the right anymore. So now it has to be the one on the left, and then let me clean up my 2. Let me get rid of my 2 here. Okay. Now, both of these could be 4 or 5. We didn't get to marking this one fully out just yet. So I'm just going to throw that in there, 4 and a 5. Now, with this 4 and a 5, coming back up here, we can now take this 4 out of that spot to clean it up just a smidgen. Can't have a 4 or a 5 in this particular spot. Okay, so now let's come back over here to this 2. Let's get rid of this 2. Now we only had 2 spots that could be a 3 because we have a 3 down the left, we have a 3 down the right. So this is the only spot left in this row to be a 3. Now we need a 1 and a 4 in this column. Well, we can't have a 1 there, so that's our 4. And that makes this one our 1, and we can clean that one up. Okay, now we do have a 3 down the left, a 3 down the right, a 3 across the top. So 3, that's the only spot left for our 3. We can go ahead and clean up our 3 here. Now we just have 1 pencil mark left for the 6. Let me just verify that. We have a 6 across the top. We have a 6 down the right side. So this one has to be our 6. Now with a 6 on the left side, we can take this pencil mark out, which cannot be a 6 anymore. So this one, we have a 6 through the middle, 6 down the right, 6 up the left. That's the only one left for a 6. Now this one cannot be a 4 anymore, which means this is the only one left to be a 4. Which means this is the only one left to be an 8, because we have an 8 here. And then this one is that illustrious 5. Now we have a 4 and a 5, and we just flip them here, 5 and a 4. Okay, and they just start cascading through, and we just got to be careful with our markings down here. We're missing a 5 and a 7 down here. I don't see anything to resolve that but I do. So we have an 8 now that comes up, which means this one has to be our 8. Okay, so we can get rid of that 8. So we have a 5 and a 7. These are cleaning up. 5 and a 7, 5 and a 7, 5 and a 7, 5 and a 7. Okay. So things are cleaning up now. Okay. Alright, we just put in a whole bunch of numbers. I need to look here again and see what we just cleaned up. And, okay, I've been doing pretty good with my pencil marks. So here, these two numbers we're missing is a 1 and a 4. So let me mark out this bottom cube. I never got that far. I just did these top three. So we've got a 1 and a 4. Okay, so one of these two is our 1. Now there's a 4 here in the middle. So we can do this. And then the other number we're missing is a 7. Okay, so we do have a 7 in the right. So that means 7 and 7. Now this 7 creates a ghost row that says you cannot have a 7 here because one of these two is a 7. So that makes this a 5, and that's going to cascade a lot of these 5s and 7s. There's our 7. Now if this is a 5, we're going to have to swap these. There's our 7. There's our 5. Now if this is a 7, well then this is our 5. Okay, now this is the only other spot that could be a 7. Now with a 5, 5 can't be here anymore, so that's going to be our 8. Well, 3 is the only number left here. And then here is our 3 or our 8. So that one has to be our 8. And now that our 8 is here, that's going to leave this one as our 5. So they just start cascading, falling through fairly quickly, letting us know what the numbers are. So it looks like we're missing two numbers here, which is our 1 and our 4. Right, our 1 and our 4s. Okay, 1 and our 4s. We'll mark that in there. I'm just looking to the right and the left. I don't have that just yet, but when we look at this one, we solve some of these numbers, and these are going to get helped here in just a second when we look at them, because we put our 3 in here, so that tells me this can't be a 3 anymore. So one of these two has to be our 3, so that means this one is our 3. One of these two was our 1, so there's our 1. There's our 4, there's our 1, there's our 4. Just don't get too fast. That's what I'm trying to do, make sure I don't mess up my numbers. One of those two is a 4. Well, that's not a 4, so if I take my 4 away, 7 is the only one that's left. If I take my 7 away, 1 is the only one that's left. Okay, we already have a 3, so that makes this one our 7. Well, I've already got a 7, so that makes that our 8. We've already got an 8, that makes that our 4. So lots of crisscross patterns in this one, and also those ghost rows. Pencil marks, super important on this one, folks. It got me stumped there a couple different times. I hope you guys found some solutions there while I was trying to figure it out. I hope you guys had some fun and had a challenge. I encourage you to play along, print these off out before we start, and feel free to leave any comments, suggestions, or challenges. I always enjoy a good challenge. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you on the next game. Bye.